everybody. Welcome to the Just Make It Pretty podcast. Today, we are talking about are builders making buying a home harder than it needs to be? Now, I've been thinking about this topic a lot because I am in the process of buying a new home. I've mentioned that several times in episodes in the past. And I didn't realize so many things about the process that I'm like relearning now. And it's gotten me thinking about how difficult it actually is to buy a home and how difficult it feels throughout that whole process. So as marketers and sales teams and builders in general, we know this process really well, but sometimes we forget what it's like to experience it for the first time. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I have a guest that's going to be coming on and talking about how we can create the best buyer experience and remove friction along the way. So if you are interested in that, please stick around and let's get right into it. Welcome to the Just Make It Pretty podcast, the marketing and mindset show for home builders and beyond. I'm your host, Sarah Haynes, and around here we go beyond pretty pictures and we get honest about what's working, what's not, and what it really takes to build better brands, better experiences, and better teams. You'll find creative ideas, practical strategies, and conversations that actually matter. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get started. All right, everybody. So today my guest is Lindsay Haltom. She is the Director of Sales and Marketing over at Homes by Tabor, and I'm so excited to have her here. So Lindsay, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here and talk to you. I'm excited. I've listened long time fan of your podcast.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I have just absolutely loved putting together this podcast. And when I have people come on that are listeners too, I don't know, it just makes me so happy. So thank you.
It's like home.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to ask you a few questions to kind of get to know you, have our listeners get to know you. So tell me about how you got into the home building industry.
I always say I lucked upon this industry. I never really even knew it was a thing, that never even considered home building, right? Even like when you think of real estate, I don't think I ever really thought of the home building industry in that regard. But I was not happy where I was and in the industry that I was in before, which was more of like medical sales and marketing. And I was just looking for a change. And so I just kind of lucked upon an ad that I saw online and submitted my resume for, and not really 100% sure even what it was going to entail. The position that it was for, I came in and interviewed for it and realized, okay, that's not really for me. But whenever we were talking, we realized, okay, wait, we might have a different position that they were interested in me for. And so it just worked out. It was one of those things where right place, right time. And I've been here ever since.
Awesome. Yeah. And you've been in your role, or you've been in the industry for a while now. How has your role shifted over all those years?
Yeah. So I've been here for 11 years now, and which is crazy because I'm only 25, but just kidding. That's when you laugh.
Child labor.
But yeah, I know. No, but I started off with it was just me. I was a marketing department of one, and Tabor was bringing in sales and marketing in-house. It was 2015, and before that it was just all outsourced and little piece here, piece there. And so really coming in as that one person team, if you will, and then just growing it from there. So just starting the marketing department, getting all of that up and running. And then we were able to start our online sales department, get all that up and running. And then I guess 3 years ago now, I took over the on-site sales team as well. So now I get to do it all.
Do it all. Yeah. Was that a tough transition? Was it just natural? How did it go?
To take over sales.
Yeah.
I think luckily because I had been so involved with all of the sales trainings and the sales processes and the sale, I had such a sort of hand in the evolution of the sales team over the years. I think for me, those were my team anyway. Just as far as us being a team overall, I felt very connected to them anyways. And I think for me, it felt pretty natural. I think at first it was like developing these good relationships and trust. And then after we got over those initial months, then it was like, hey, let's just get the show on the road. We're all working here together for the same goal, and it has worked out.
That's a big testament to your company's culture, I think, because that could be a different story, I think, depending on how your company's structured. So I'm really happy to hear that. And it fascinates me. I say this in so many episodes, but it fascinates me, people that can lead both sides of sales and marketing, because I feel like just the personality differences and the way that the teams are formed is just, we're a lot different. And that's why we're good at what we do.
Yeah, we are. I think that what marketing though has is positivity. I always say we're like the cheerleaders for the company, and that's how you lead a sales team anyways. Go in, be positive, give them the tools that they need to give them the confidence that they need to be able to do their job. And then we all have to hold everybody accountable along the way. But I think going in with that mindset of let me just give them the tools they need and just help support them. I don't know, it's worked for us.
You're right. And I think a lot of builders, we just have to remind ourselves that we're all here for the same goal. And
Yeah.
that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Don't be the grumpy marketing team.
Yes.
That's your takeaway. Write that down. Don't be the
Yes.
grumpy marketing team. Nobody likes the grumpy marketing team.
Sure. Nobody likes a grumpy anybody, but that's so true.
Exactly.
We're talking today about the buyer experience and making that whole process for our buyers as easy as possible. And I had a great conversation with you before this, so I'm really excited to dive into that today. And so the first place that I want to start is, we talked a lot about transparency in our talk before. So I'd love if you could talk about what's your philosophy around creating a transparent transaction.
Yeah, sure. I think that everything that we do and over the years, we have just tried to take whatever kind of friction might be in the process, whether it's online or in person, whatever those parts of friction are, we've tried to remove those. And a lot of that is with just having a transparent buying process. So as you and I were talking the other day, it was reminding me of when I did first start here. And we had this website that was pretty crappy, okay? And just to get an understanding of what buyers were going through to trying to find a home, we all sat in the conference room, leadership, right? We sat in the conference room and we just pulled out our laptops and we said, okay, whatever your scenario is in life, find a home. Find a
Mhm.
home that you want to move forward with. And that was the hardest process. It's so stupid because you're like, oh, we have all these builder websites and we have all these third-party sites that we get on realtor.com and Zillow and all these things that we can do to find a home. And then you're like, no, wait, this crap's actually really hard to find the one that you're looking for, but also finding all the information in it as well. That is this a home that I would actually buy before seeing it in person? And so that exercise, I feel like was the starting point of really shifting my brain into this is hard.
Mhm.
Let's try to make it not hard. And
Mhm.
then we've just one foot in front of the other ever since.
Yeah, it is hard and it's scary too. And then when you pair the two of, this is a really hard process and I'm really nervous about it, it's
Yeah.
very overwhelming.
It is so overwhelming. It is. We were just talking before this started, and so you are actually about to move. And
Yes.
it's, yeah. And so there's curveballs. And sorry, I'm going to tell them what they just told me or what you just told me. So she's about to move, and her moving company just basically told her it's going to be more expensive, throwing all these curveballs a week before Sarah's moving, which sucks. And you're just at the mercy now of this moving company who's raking you over the coals for, I don't know, lack of better terms,
Not
because they
ideal.
know that because they know that you're in it, right? You're in it,
Mhm.
and there's so many things that go on in a buyer's life throughout this process. And yeah, it's emotional, it's stressful, finances get scary, just everything that goes along with it, much less why they're moving in the first place. We get the people that are moving because they're changing jobs and they want to move or whatever. Then we have those people that have experienced a death or that are waiting for their divorce to be finalized so that they can go buy the first home they've ever bought on their own. There's all these different scenarios that sometimes we don't necessarily think of because we do this every day. We're in this circle of doing this every single day.
It's been such an experience moving, and this is the second home that I bought new, had built, and it's been different both times. And it was really eye-opening because the first time I was fairly new in the industry, and now I've been here for 10 years. And so I've forgotten a lot throughout that process. And I think a lot of us in the industry do. We forget what that process is because we're so close to it. And we don't buy a house every single year. Not all of us do, some of us do, but not everyone does. So it's just easy to forget. And
Yeah.
so I loved one of the things you said too is that our buyers don't work here. And I love that because it was so easy to remember. I was like, no, that's so true. They don't know all of this stuff that we do. And that was just like aha moment for me for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. That's also the line I like to use whenever I'm the customer. Have you ever been a customer and you go into, it could be anything, it could be like a restaurant or doctor's office, and they talk to you as though, don't you know you were supposed to XYZ? And I'm like, I love to say, no, I actually don't because I don't work here. But it's so frustrating when people talk to you like that. But I think that in our industry, I think we probably do that more to our customers than than any other industry. But it is a complicated process. And whether it's dealing with lending or knowing how much to bring to closing and knowing if you're supposed to have a money order versus a check, just stupid stuff like that, right? That we're like, did they not know? No, they didn't
Yeah.
because they don't work here. And so for us and our team, I'm just constantly reminding them, hey, they don't work here. Like, I know you do this every single day, but also, I promise you, if you go buy a house tomorrow, even though you do this every single day, you're going to run into things that you didn't know either. And so it is our job to make sure that they're getting the information, but also like when these curveballs come up, to help walk them through the process without making them feel like they're idiots.
Having a little bit of empathy and
Yeah.
reminders, it's so important. It's funny
Yeah.
because my husband's not in the industry, and so he has even a different experience than I do. But it's funny because he'll just reach out to the builder and be like, I just had this random question and I'm having anxiety, so what's happening? And the salespeople have been so awesome. They just write it back, they're like, everything's going great, no updates from last time or whatever. But I'm like, oh, this is that experience, this is what's happening, he is that person.
He is, yeah, but also because he said, I had this question because I'm having anxiety. Like,
Hmm.
it's not just I have this question, it's I have this question and it's going to spin out of control if I don't ask it. And so good for him for asking because that's how people start spinning out. Maybe I don't want to do it. Maybe I don't want to buy this house anymore. People get scared.
And I talk to a lot of builders, and one of the things that I notice a lot is they don't want to give too much information. They don't want to say too much. There's this back and forth that we go through of what is the right thing to say and do. And my stance is always we want to get ahead of anything that is going to come up. As the builder, we have control of whatever that narrative is, and we can help them go through it. But when you don't do that, the alternative is people are able to create their own story as they go, and things do start to snowball, especially in those anxious times. So I
Hmm.
think that's where we talked about transparency. I think that's like where it's so important. But there is this what do we say? How much do we do? And I coming not from being a builder, it's kind of confusing sometimes for me. So I'd love if you could talk about that and what is important to share and what's not.
I think you share as much as you possibly can. It's going to be impossible to share everything, right? Because there's a point where it's just could be difficult for the buyer to filter through some of that information, right? But you need to share as much as possible. If you're withholding on purpose and gatekeeping information, thinking that prospective buyers are going to reach out to you, you're going to have to assume that you're going to lose a lot of those people before they ever reach out. It's gatekeeping information is especially in today's times where there's chaos everywhere, right? Let's think about in the most perfect real estate environment and the perfect economic environment where there's not all of these sort of concerns with wars popping up everywhere and affordability being crazy. And every time you go to the gas pump, you're reminded about how expensive everything is. Let's say all of that doesn't exist, right? Just going through this process without all of those factors is really hard. And so
Mhm.
if you're gatekeeping that information, people are very likely to just stop and not move forward. And that's
Mhm.
their decision, right? They're just going to stay where they are. And so the easier we make it for people to go through this process, the more likely they are to actually follow through with going through the process. So, examples for us, one of the first things that we did was put for every floor plan that we build, we are considered a production builder, right? So for every floor plan we build, we have our structural options that we've put online. And not only so people can click and see what they want to add, see what they want to remove. I always just say that I hope they're on their couch in their underwear before they even get to us. That's how we shop. And they can also see the prices for those structural changes as well. So they've got it all in front of them and they are working through those things before they get to us. They're not having to ask us. One of the things that we just rolled out the beginning of this year was we're a builder who allows you to select your design options throughout the construction process. So if a home is midway through construction, there's still a list of items that can be personalized in the home. Maybe it's your backsplash or your paint colors or whatever. So we have now made that to where all of that transparency is online as well. So this home might look like it's just at frame, but now you can see, okay, cool. This is actually a benefit to me because now I can still select these things. Just always going through that process and thinking, what can we share with them that they don't even have to ask us for? They already have it.
I really like your guys' website. We had talked about your website before too, and I think the experience on the site is so important, and especially with we're able to do that with our cars. We're able to do that with just about anything that we want to buy online. We can customize it. We can see what it looks like in our room. There's a lot of options available to us. And so we have come to expect that. And I think that it causes frustration when you are expecting one thing and you get there and you're like, I have to reach out for every piece of information. That's so annoying.
If you're still saying call for price, who does that?
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's crazy.
Then too, those are like really big things, right? We talked about being able to see pricing and being able to see what all your options are going to cost. But the overwhelm starts with small things too. So not being able to find the right phone number or being presented, oh, I want to call them. And I've got 17 phone numbers that I can choose from. I don't know who to call. I'm just not going to call. And so it's really be like, this was hard. I'm going to leave.
If it's too hard, you're not going to do it. So this is so stupid, but right now I'm in this big kick of trying to get my house organized. We've been in my house for 7 years. Okay. And so you're moving right now. Unless you're moving, you don't really purge. You don't go through every drawer. So anyways, I'm in that mode right now. And I had to go to the Container Store and I have this specific drawer that I wanted to organize. And I had the dimensions that I need containers for this drawer. Super easy, right? I'm at the Container Store, for crying out loud. And I couldn't find one that fit. And I'm like, there's this sealed box of containers that I'm like, I think that's actually what I need. And I'm looking at it and it only tells me like how many liters and quarts and stuff that these containers hold. I'm like, no, I need to know is it 4 inches tall? Is it 4 inches tall or 5 inches tall? That is what I need to know. I'm literally standing in the store. I've got my phone out and I'm like Googling these containers to see if I can get the dimensions online. Still only tells me liters and quarts. I left the Container Store and I didn't buy anything because it was too hard. I couldn't figure it out while I was in there. And so I'm like, you know what? I'll just do this later. And I still haven't done it, right? I moved on to a different project to organize, but that's stupid containers. If we're making it too hard for people, if we're not putting the dimensions on the box for the containers, and that's something so small, that is something so small that we're going to buy versus something that's life-changing like a home. So it's
Yeah.
just stuff like that we have to remember. If it's causing friction, people are not going to move forward.
Yes. And honestly, that's so logical, right? Who thinks, oh, I need containers for my drawer. I better measure that in liters. Like nobody's thinking that. Let's make
What
it
are we
simpler.
in Europe? Are you going to tell me how many? It's just crazy. Tell me how many kilometers I have to go to get there too. It's just so stupid. I don't know. I need inches
Yeah.
and that's it. That's all I need.
Think about things from that perspective with home building. It's what are the questions that people are going to have? What information are they going to want? And we give that to them up front. I think that's the takeaway there.
Yeah.
But I do hear we don't want to put out something that's going to change, or what if this pricing isn't accurate all the time? So, how do you decide what is relevant and good to share versus what would be too much or not sustainable?
Yeah. I don't know. I think for us, maybe I feel like we have dialed in on this so much that we have processes around it. And so it's not crazy the end of the world whenever something changes. Of course, it wasn't our processes have evolved because I'm sure we ran into that here and there whenever we would have an option that's price changed and things. But we just have it to where when something changes, we know the people that need to be alerted and we know our jobs to be able to get those things updated. I think we don't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if we're being honest, a lot of this stuff is a lot of work, right? And it's not just a lot of work for your marketing team, it's a lot of work for all the teams, company wide, except for maybe a handful of people aren't impacted by this stuff. And so it is a cultural thing. And you mentioned it earlier, but we have a really great culture where we all have this this ultimate goal of trying to better the customer journey. And I don't know, I think maybe I'm spoiled in that regard a little bit, but we just have processes around it.
And that's honestly all it is for anything that we want to do, right? If we
Right.
just have to make the decision and make a process to make it happen, and then we will. But we're very good as humans at making all the excuses on why
Yeah.
we can't.
Or like a buyer for making excuses for why we don't want to buy the house in you. It's
Yeah,
all the same. It's all the same.
exactly. It really is. So one of the other things, so this is around the same topic, but a little bit a new direction is how similar this process is from builder to builder. So you have this buyer, right? They are looking at all of these options. They're looking at all these different builders in the area. And a lot of what I see, a lot of websites and a lot of that experience is really the same. And then you look at you get down to the floor plans, those are pretty much the same. So it's really hard to distinguish between builders. And I think that's something that a lot of builders are trying to do is make themselves look different. So I loved when I was like researching you and looking up things that I loved your website because it was different. It looked different. It had all of the information in a logical way, but it didn't just look cookie cutter to everybody else. So I'd love if you can talk about that a little bit, like what intentional choices you made with that.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to our website company. Builder Designs is who we work with, and they're always really great about helping all these visions kind of come to life and making contributions to those visions and things like that. But I would say it's an evolution, right? I knew that we were not just this cookie cutter builder that does things just like everybody else does them. We do things different, and I think that really with our brand, we've tried to be bold. We've tried to be different. We've tried to not just fit the mold, if you will, for home builders. And so it's really easy to be able to do that. It's harder to be able to kind of not fit in the mold, right? And so again, that's a lot of reasons why builders might not do that. It's hard. But we've just always taken that approach that our brand is different, our brand is bold, and we're going to make things the way we want them with keeping the customer in mind the whole time. I remember like on our last website, it's so stupid. What do we do all day long? We're just like on our phones, right? Like scrolling. And on our previous website that we had built out, I had this idea of what if we made our home detail cards look like social media, right? Like we're all scrolling anyways. And if we're scrolling through, like, why does it have to be the same old home detail card? And I remember like pitching that idea out there, and someone was like, do people really want to shop for homes the way they're on social media? And I'm like, why wouldn't they? It's like just so normal. We look at pictures on Instagram, and why would we not want to scroll through a builder website and have that same experience? And we did it. It worked really well. And now this most recent website that we have, we've evolved around that kind of concept. But everything should be, everyone says mobile first. Everyone is full of baloney whenever they say that we build mobile first. Are you really even paying? I don't know. I that's my personal opinion. But I think making sure that people are able to scroll through and just are they going to spend time on there like they would on Instagram?
Mhm. Yeah. You're really thinking about where buyers are at right now. And I know I'm mostly influenced from social media. If I have anything,
Yeah.
it's probably I saw it on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of opportunities for builders. We're out here. I think every brand is different and unique. And they're just taking that and being like, throw that away and we'll just take the easy road because if we just do everything the same as everybody else, like
Right.
easy. And I know that's not probably as intentional as I'm making it sound because a lot of people aren't, I'm just going to do this easier, but that's what ends up happening in
No.
the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think people are like purposely doing it, but I think it's just a path of least resistance, I think, for a lot of things that we're talking about right now.
Okay. So let's talk now about the future of the buyer experience. If I know experience has changed a lot over the last decade. So if you were to make a prediction, what do you think is ahead of us?
Man, I think that buyers are going to become the word demanding is coming into my head, but I feel like that is negative. I don't mean it in a negative way at all. I think that they are going to just expect more. Think about just over this past decade, how much more information that they expect at the ready, the Amazon culture that we've talked about for years. I think that buyers are going to expect more. I think they're going to expect more for their money. I think they're going to expect more out of the homes. I think they're expecting more out of the experience. And I think between buyers expecting more, I think we have this online culture where people are going to be pretty upfront about if they're not getting something. Call it keyboard warriors or whatever it is, but anybody who's social that manages social media can know people can get feisty. And so I think that it's all because of maybe the anxiety that they have towards the process or just wanting to feel at ease
Mhm.
that I think we have to lean into that. I really do, because really I don't think that's going to go away. I think it's going to get stronger.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think with watching how Gen Z is and, all these the younger generations now, these are our future buyers, and we can all be studying it. It's not like it's a secret. All the new buyers coming into the industry, they're all there. But I definitely would agree with you. I think that it's just going to be less optional to not have these features on their website.
Less optional. Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, what do you think builders should start doing immediately to get ready for that shift to happen?
Gosh, go through the process that I went through at the very beginning and just try to find a home online. Wrap your mind around it and see why is it hard? Where is it hard? You talked about having these options to buy a car. It's we have one of the last products that is completely built by man, right? We're not coming off an assembly line like a car is, where things are happening on the assembly line before we ever see it on the lot. We have one of these last sort of products that goes through this built by hand process. And our which kind of feels like maybe that's antiquated, but we have to make sure that our buyer journey is not in that antiquated process. We have to make sure that it's seamless, that it's easy, that it's smooth, and that we are having empathy for these people that are going through these life changes without making them transactional.
I think that's an advantage for us because we can lean into like all the people that are building your home. What other product can really have this? Oh, here's this robot that assembled your car. So I'm not connecting with that, right? We have a
Yeah.
lot of opportunities for a lot more human connection than I think we're taking advantage of.
For sure. And don't get me wrong, like we might be they're 3D printing homes, but there's still people that have to come in and do the plumbing and all the electrical and things like that. That is still a man-made product. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, 3D printed homes, man, I could do a whole episode on that. That's so cool.
I'm so into it. I'm so curious. And every time I start going down the rabbit hole, I'm like, no, no. But it's so there. I
Yes.
Really quick, my son is 13 and he just got a 3D printer and I'm so freaking obsessed with it. Every day I'm like printing stuff and I'm like having to buy him new filament and stuff because I use it all. And it's just so ridiculous. So I don't know if I bought it for him or I bought it for me, but the 3D printing thing is so cool. I love
It,
it. It's
it's
awesome.
so cool. And that's like
So,
that's one of the benefits of having kids. You buy them things that you want, and then it's
like,
okay because it's for the
don't
kids.
you want it? Don't you want it? Yeah, it's mine. I think it's mine. It's so fun. But anyways, yeah, 3D printing homes. I'm sure we'll get more into that as time evolves.
For sure. I think that would be an interesting development. I hope someday I have an episode where I get to talk about it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope I'm on it.
I will keep you in mind
Thanks.
for when that time comes.
Oh, awesome stuff.
All right. I have just a few more rapid fire questions at the end
Okay.
of our episode here. This is a fun part of the segment because I get to just throw questions at you. You can answer as short or as long as you'd like, but they're random. My first one is what is one thing buyers ask for that surprises you?
Hmm. That's easy. They asked for a rate buy down and $1 million worth of things. Yeah. Yeah, that one is easy right now. I swear, every offer that's coming in right now, I'm like, this is insane. We can't give houses away for free. But yeah, that right now, it definitely surprises me every time it happens.
People really like to negotiate. I'm always surprised. I get really nervous. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Just tell me the price and I'll pay it.
I'll just pay it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to argue with you. Okay, what is one builder myth that you'd love to eliminate from the industry?
builder myth that I would love to eliminate. Man, I think it goes into what we were just talking about cars coming off an assembly line. Just because you're buying a brand new home does not mean that it's going to be 100% perfect, and there are never going to be any sort of things that go wrong. It's why you have a warranty. It's why you do your walkthroughs, all that kind of stuff. But I think that there is sometimes a misconception. The amount of times customers think, I'm buying this brand new home, you shouldn't have to replace the dishwasher. And you're like, yeah, we can't rip the whole house down because the dishwasher needs to be replaced. It's just, we're going to fix it. We're going to make it brand new again. And I think that's hard for people to understand.
Yeah. Yeah,
They don't
I
work
get
here. So
that.
it's our job to teach them.
I get it from both sides, but it's like nothing in this world is ever perfect. And I think what's more important to focus on is like how is any issue that comes up handled. And I think there's so many good builders out there that are like willing to fix anything that goes wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. This has been such an amazing episode. I've had so much fun, and I love episodes where I get to laugh the whole time. So this is really good. So thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, it was so good to see you.
It was. So I would love to give our listeners a way to reach out to you if they have any questions. So if are you online, where can people find you?
Of course, I'm online. They can find me on LinkedIn, or Instagram is always a good spot too. Yeah,
Okay.
Lindsay Haltom.
Awesome. I will put all your links in the description box as I always do. You've been awesome and already sent them to me. So I have them. They will be down there for everyone. So if you want to reach out to Lindsay, please do that. Or if you have any comments, you can leave those also in the comment box below. So Lindsay and I will be there as well. And yeah, I'll give you the last word, Lindsay. Anything else you want to share with our listeners before we go?
Give your buyers the answers to the test. Don't make them work for it.
I love that. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Please come back next week for our next episode. And while you're down there in that comment box, hit the like button for me. That really helps out my algorithm. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.